All right, today we're going to talk about segmentation in PR, and I'm going to show you how I turn this piece of content that I created into 32 different headlines. Each will have a group of journalists. I'm going to just show you one journalist to each. So I'm first just going to take you through the content. So what I did is I took the Billboard Hot 100 from 1975 to 2025. So 50 years in music is going to be the name of the domain. I just haven't bought the domain yet, but I'm going to buy it probably after I do this video. So we analysed number one songs from Billboard Hot 100 singles charts from 1975 to 2025 to look at how music's changed over the last 50 years. And the data that I got is top artists by weeks at number one. So we got, like Mariah Carey's number one. I'm going to put this in the description so you can look at it at your own time. Genres by weeks at number one. So we got R&B as the top genre, pop second, hip hop is third, so on and so forth. Genres that have spent most weeks at number one by decade. So 1975 was disco was number one. 1980s rock was number one. 1990s R&B. 2000s was hip hop. The 10s was pop, with hip hop as second, and the 2020s has been hip hop. Yeah, and then I've sort of just charted that data over time. So we've got the decline of rock music showed as numbers. So yeah, in the 70s it spent 15% of the time at number one. 80s it was 35%, which was the most out of any genre, and then from then it's been basically like fuck all. So I know I've got an angle there for rock papers, for rock journalists, rock music journalists. Hip hop, you see the opposite, nothing, and then boom, explosion in the 2000s. And if the study started for the last 25 years, it would be the most popular by miles. So again, like hip hop writers is going to be a segment here. R&B is the most popular overall, and you can see like Endure, it's just always been popular, peaking in the 90s. And then country music, we see it's never really been that popular until now, because you've got that whole like what's Lil Nas X, that guy, like he's sort of blending country and hip hop, and that's made country more popular. So that's a clear segment there. So then I've got best artist by genre. So Mariah Carey, top 4, R&B, Rihanna second, third, Drake. Then I've got the same for pop. Bruno Mars number 1, Taylor Swift number 2, Adele number 3, Katy Perry number 4. Hip hop, T.I. is number 1. This was kind of unexpected for me anyway. Like, I can only vaguely. Firstly, I'm not that into hip hop. Secondly, I'm not American. I kind of vaguely know. I know you did a feature on like a Rihanna song that was quite big, but I barely heard of this guy. Whereas I definitely know who Eminem, Black Eyed Peas, 50 Cent, Nelly, Jay-Z. I know who all these other guys are, but I've never heard of this guy. So I'm actually going to pitch this guy is from Georgia. So I'm going to pitch that this guy is the top hip hop artist of the last few years to Georgian outlets, and it's like a local good news story. Rock, yeah, we've got the same here. And then country, we've got the same here. Okay, cool. Now, I've also got the data from where these people are from. So this is states and countries. So New York is number 1, UK is number 2, California is number 3, Texas number 4, Canada is number 5, and so on and so forth. And then I did states at number 1 per million residents. So this I'm going to turn into a headline being like, these are the most musically gifted states in the US. And this is my list. So Hawaii is number 1, DC is number 2, New York's number 3, North Dakota is number 4, Georgia's number 5, and so on and so forth. And then I've got like an interactive map that shows you this, right? which artist to spend the most amount of time at number one by state. So yeah, just broken down by the most popular artist per state. And then I've also included countries in there. Which state has spent the most weeks at number one by genre? So New York are the kings of R&B. UK has produced more like pop songs than anyone else. Pop, yeah. This one I particularly like is hip hop because like the whole like East Coast versus West Coast thing. This kind of shows that East Coast has won that battle. So it's 149 for East Coast, 99 for California, and then 98 for Georgia. So we could do East Coast versus West Coast, or East Coast versus West Coast versus Southern hip hop. I think that this is quite an interesting sort of data point here. So much so that I should turn this into a pie chart. So yeah. Then rock, again, UK is the winner. So UK rock outlets, it's a good news story for them. Country, Tennessee is the winner. I think Tennessee outlets will jump on that because they sort of know that they are the kings of countries, but the kings of country music. But this kind of proves it. And again, because I think that this is going to work, I've gone to the effort of making like a pie chart out of it. So we've got Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, and Texas. Which cities have produced the most number one hits? So you can actually target city by city publications. So New York number one, London number two, LA number three, Atlanta number four, Huntington number five. That's just because of Mariah Carey. Toronto number six. So actually, I'm going to add a few more to my headlines. I'm going to put Atlanta has produced is the city that has spent the fourth longest on top of Billboard in the last 50 years. And then Toronto as well. I'm going to, whoops. Sorry. Toronto is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Toronto and Philadelphia. Maybe Houston as well. So spend the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to go Houston for 7th. And I'm going to go Chicago. Thing is, Chicago is a big city. That's actually not that great as 8th, but let's do it anyway. Fuck it. And then I will also do Gary, Indiana. Because I know that that's not a big place. It's because of the Jack. It's because Michael and Janet Jackson are from there. Might as well do the 10th as well. San Bernardino. Actually, I might. Yeah, San Bernardino. The fact that it beats out San Francisco and San Jose. I'm just going to look at population of San Bernardino. Population of San Jose. Yeah. So San Population of Compton. So I might do the most musically gifted cities in California, and then I'll compare. Like, I've got data for this. It's like I'll just compare San Bernardino, San Francisco, San Jose, Compton, and the other ones per person. Right. So I've got that as well. Then I've got this again. I've got like cities per 100,000 residents. So yeah, Sneedville in Tennessee is number one. That's just because of Morgan Wallen, I think. St. Michael, Barbados is just because of Rihanna. But there are some interesting ones here. Ones that I've just produced like loads. And then I've got a gender inequality thing. So if we look at gender inequality over time, like it hasn't really changed. So I got the average between, I should say 2025. The average between 2000 and 2025 is 35%. And then the average between 1975 and 1999 was, it was like 30, it was also 34%. So I can say that gender inequality has not changed between like at all really in the last 50 years. And then I can also do ones by music genre. So like hip hop has massive gender inequality, as does rock music, as does country music. And I've got some graphs to show that. And then I've got my methodology, right? So here are the headlines that I've come up with, plus the journalists. So New York has given us more hip hop number one than California. So it's like the East Coast versus West Coast thing. And the journalist that I'm going to target is, this is like my North Star journalist. It's not the only journalist I'm going to target with this angle, but it's like a model example, right? So Sean Grant, senior editor of Source Magazine, which is a hip hop magazine, and he just writes about hip hop. Yeah, cool. That's number one. Number two, this is just a very straight angle, like how Americans' music tastes have changed over the last 50 years. I'm just pitching the whole thing. And this is the kind of person that I'm targeting. So Audacity is a radio station aggregator, and they just write about very general music news. So yeah, that's who I'm going to target for that. Next headline, gender inequality in music has not improved over the last 50 years. Katie Bain writes for Billboard. Where she directs dance music coverage and reports on sustainability as it relates to the music industry. In-depth report on Saudi Arabia's emerging music industry, and has written for The Guardian and Vice, which are both quite, I hate to use the word, but they're both like quite woke. Like let's just be real about it. So, and yeah, she likes to cover female artists. So I think a gender inequality thing will appeal to her. So that's the next one. Breaking America, London artists have spent the second longest at Billboard number one in the world. Hannah Roberts, who writes about film and music for the London Evening Standard. So London, I know the relevant beat. The Morgan Wallen effect, why Sneedville is the music capital of the world. again, going back to that information about cities that spend the most time at number one per 100,000 residents. And this is Sneedville's local paper. Sneedville had like a population of like, I think it's, no, it's not here, but it's got a population of like, it's less than 10,000. It's fucking tiny. So he's just the editor of their local paper. And it's a DR51 website, so it'd be good to get it from, but like, look at the arts and entertainment section. It's like Valentine's Day recipes, like staying at home on Valentine's Day. Like they've got absolutely fuck all to write about. Is what I'm trying to get at. So if you can find a good news story for a paper like that, you know, it's a good angle. I'm doing a similar thing with St. Michael in Barbados. So Sandy Dean is actually the only author I could find who writes for this paper. Again, it's quite a small paper, but yeah, her most recent article was about a local pop star. So again, if we can say that like St. Michael is the city that spent the most amount of time at number one in the last 50 years, I think she'll publish that. Next one, it's official. Tennessee is the king of country music, so it's sort of this table. Marcus Dowling. There we go. Marcus Dowling is the Tennessean's Nashville country music reporter. Perfect. Georgia is the 5th most musical state in the UK. In the US, sorry. So Travis Mora is the senior digital content creator at Fox 5 Atlanta. And the reason why I chose him is because he's one of the few journalists there where most of his stories don't involve video content. And since I don't have any video content, this is the right guy to contact for this, I think. So next one, Puerto Rico has given us more number ones per resident than California. So here we're going back to here. Puerto Rico is here, and then California is no. Sorry, what's the headline? Puerto Rico has given us more number ones per resident than California. So we've got have I made a mistake here? I have made a mistake. So I could say then that's more number ones than has given us more number ones than X number So I'll just work out the number of US states that it beats, and then I'll pitch that as the headline. And this is the person that I will email. This is Puerto Rico's, a daily newspaper in Puerto Rico. She writes in Spanish and in English, but I'm actually going to pitch her in Spanish. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. UK rock bands have spent more time on top of Billboard than California's in California. I'm going to pitch Louder Sound, this guy, online editor, classic rock. Next one, the Manchester band that have had more US number ones than Ed Sheeran. And this is about the Bee Gees. I found that the Bee Gees, let's go to Bee Gees. The Bee Gees have like spent so much time at number one. They've beaten like all these bands. So I could sort of choose any of these people. I might change it to Kanye West. And the person I'm going to be pitching is Diane Bourne, who is the lifestyle editor for the Manchester Evening News. Yeah, cool. Breaking America. UK pop artists have spent more time at Billboard number one than California and New York combined. So that's from... that's from this table. So, and I'm pitching James Hall, who is a music writer for The Telegraph, which is a UK paper. UK rock bands have spent... Sorry. I'm getting a bit lost here. Okay. Next one. The Isle of Wight band that have spent more time at number one than Kanye West. Again, this is about the Bee Gees, because the Bee Gees, they were born in the Isle of Wight, but they grew up in Manchester. So I could actually use... Both of these are technically true. And the person that I'm going to... the person that I'm going to email is this guy, who's the editor of the Island Echo, which is a daily newspaper covering the Isle of Wight. The Isle of Wight is fucking tiny if you aren't English. It's a really, really small place. So, again, they don't have that much to write about. So, I think, yeah, that headline will work for this paper. Next one. Atlanta Rapper has spent more time at Atlanta Rap... I'm just going to change that slightly. The Atlanta Rapper... Okay, this Atlanta Rapper... The Atlanta Rapper has spent more time at Billboard number one than any other hip-hop artist. So this is about T.I., who... Maybe in America it's not surprising, but I was very surprised that he was the number one rapper. And this is just a journalist who covers just random stuff for Atlanta. So which artists spend the most amount of time in Alabama? So this is going to almost be like a listicle type thing, just with the Alabama's top artists. And Mary Colarso, who writes about music, covering Alabama. Which artists spend the most amount of time at number one in Arkansas? And then this person writes about a general assignment reporter, but covering Arkansas. So there isn't really a dedicated like music person, but general assignment, you know, you've got a decent chance with her. Which artist has spent the most amount of time at number one in California? We've got Michael Wood, who is a pop music critic in the LA Times. So it's got a topic relevancy and a geographic relevancy there. Which artists spend the most amount of time at number one in Florida? C.A. Bridges, who is a trending writer for covering Florida. And he does write about music. Well, it's sort of like entertainment. A lot of his stuff falls under entertainment. So sort of semi topic relevance, but then 100% geographic relevance. So that's still a very good prospect, in my opinion. Which artist to spend the most amount of time from in Illinois? I should change that to which X artist to spend the most time at number one on Billboard. Digital content executive producer for Illinois. Again, he just writes about very general topics, and not all of his articles are video. So again, this is the guy that I'm going to email for that. Again, it's got geographic relevance. Which artists spend the most amount of time at number one in New York? Vulture, which is like the culture part of the New Yorker. This guy just writes about music. So we've got topic relevance and geographic relevance. Which artists spend the most amount of time at number one in Virginia? Michelle Marsh. Is, again, she's just a general, sort of a general reporter, but she covers Virginia. So we've got the topical relevance there. Sorry, the geographic relevance there. Excuse me. Hawaii is the most musically gifted state. So I'm taking data from here. Which states to spend most amount of time at number one per million residents? So Hawaii, Emily Christabel. Who writes for the Hawaii News Now. Again, because this was quite a small paper, they didn't actually say which the articles didn't actually have authors, so I just found out on the contact page. So next one is DC is the second most gifted music state. So Josh Barlow. Who is, he writes for the website of a radio station that covers Washington, DC. Michigan is the seventh most, sorry, Georgia is the fifth. Okay, so we got the same for North Dakota, Georgia, Michigan, and in Indiana. And then for North Dakota, I've got Morgan DeVries, who is I think she's just a generalist writer, but she covers the North Dakota, so we've got geographic relevance. And then, yeah, I've just done the same for these places. So it's always got geographic relevance. And then I'm trying to find journalists who just write articles rather than do video content and who write about entertainment, culture, or music. So that's kind of all the same with those ones. Then I've got the decline of rock music in numbers. So that's sort of this, centered around this bit of data. And this guy writes for a music publication. writing a lot about rock music. And then country music has spent more time on top of Billboard in the 2020s than in the previous 45 years. Then I've got Lydia Farthing, who is a country music journalist from Nashville. Again, these aren't the only people I'm going to headline, but these who I'm going to email, but these are sort of a model journalist for each one. And then I'm also going to find stuff for this as well. So yeah, that's how I'm doing segmentation for this piece of content. Again, I will put this content in the description, and I will let you know how the campaign goes once I've done all the outreach. So if you enjoyed that video, you learned something, and you'd like to work with me, you can go to my website at ollybaysdigital.com, or just Google Ollie Bays Digital, which is the name of this channel, and you will find me, and you can find out more about me there, make an inquiry. If you want to just straight up email me, my email address is ollie, O-L-I, at ollybaysdigital.com. And if you just like the video but you don't really want to speak to me, fair enough, but please like, comment and subscribe.